Mega Tbull here. Yesterday we put up a video titled The Top Premium Ships of 2021, referring of course to the new ships that are released over the course of the year. Highest ranked cruiser on that list, I believe it was number 2 overall, Ochakov. Alright, now we got a game, Atlantic, capture the base mode. This is going to be a game that in the industry we would refer to it as a bit of a burner. Alright, high damage game, over 200k here. Going to be kind of holding down you know, the win for the team here. So we're going to jump right into it here. You can see we spawn on the kind of the northeast side of here. Now I'm looking on this map here. We don't have domination mode, so there's no northeast cap to protect. And we're looking at the destroyer deployment. Of course, they're both in the middle here. I didn't notice if they're in a division or whatever, but nevertheless, both destroyers in the middle. So immediately we have to evaluate, okay, what's valuable, what's not as valuable. And keeping an eye on where the destroyers deploy is part of that, okay? Because we don't want to concede sides, and that means we don't want to allow the enemy to move into the northeast, for instance. That's the position we're responsible for, because if they get in there, then they shoot shots into the side, into the middle of the map, which is where we're going to be playing, and the game will fall apart very quickly, okay? But there's no destroyers going over here, so it's not as imperative for us to be as close to those ships. You know, if you're supporting destroyers, you want to be close enough to actually support them. Okay, so instead we're going to be playing this position in the middle of the map. Very dangerous position, and we got to be kind of Johnny in the spot here, keeping an eye on the map, keeping our game awareness high, because there's going to be a lot of ships that can fire into our position. You'll note, though, nobody on our team is moving into the northeast, so that will allow the red team to push aggressively in there. We also have a Stalingrad, relatively mirroring our position on the red side there. You can see that cruiser that's kind of in the middle. And then, for whatever reason, everyone else on both teams seems to identify the southwest region as the most strategically relevant. So what the logic is behind that escapes me, but nevertheless, that's the deployment here. So how do we play this? Well, we want to be keeping an eye on, number one, when are we getting spotted? And we noted we were getting spotted there. We checked the map for lines of sight on us. Nobody was in our ring that had a line of sight. Pop the radar. We do have a long-range Russian radar here. Relatively short duration, but we should be able to get 3-4 salvos off. Unfortunately, our front guns are blocked. We did have to get as close to silent as possible to keep ourselves safe. But we did get decent damage on the Claveri. He's probably about a third down. Grober moving in hot here. He's pushing aggressively. Okay, now we're going to do what we can do here to keep him back. Now note the usage of the AP throughout this game. Our build is AP focused. We got Yamamoto, we got Dmitry Dewey, aka I have no idea what his name is at the moment. Gurin. No, it's not Gurin. Whatever his name is. Dmitry Dewey is what we call him. So, you know, we enhance the AP as much as we can. Correct me in the comments what the guy's name is. I'm just having a brain fart. But anytime we're getting shots on these broadside cruisers, battleships, that's going to be the aim point. Now, Grober Kurfürst, Grosser Kurfürst, whatever you want to call it, heavily armored on the bottom of the ship, on the hull. So when we're shooting into this guy, we're going to be aiming kind of in the middle of the ship, hoping to get a lot of the shots into the superstructure in the relatively less armored, higher up parts of the hull. So that's the game plan here. But now we got the Alaska. He's kind of moved into our position as well. A little bit annoying having these ships stacked on us here. It's not that big of a deal. It's not like stacking battleships where you're really removing your efficacy by being in the same position, because you can alternate shells readily, and the cruisers is just not as detrimental. It's not ideal, but what's concerning more so is the fact that if he needs to disengage, or he feels he needs to move or do something, he could potentially ram me, push me out, or vice versa. You know, it's just kind of a precarious situation. There's a very small usable space around this island, again, because there's going to be a lot of ships that want to shoot us, and the Grober moving that far north that aggressively, that creates crossfires basically in the whole team here. Extremely dangerous position. That's why we would never want to concede a side as readily as we did. Nevertheless, them's the cards that we find ourselves holding, and we're going to have to deal with it. Kleber does come in here, though, and every Kleber in this game loves the suicide torpedo tactic. We'll see it on both sides of the ball here. But Kleber moving into the Alaska, and we're going to keep our back guns on there as well. Need to be angling against the Grosser Curve first. We also want to be dealing damage with this Kleber as best as we can. Luckily for us, the Alaska does block most of that damage. Now he's extremely low. That's not lucky for us, but in the meantime, he's going to at least presumably occupy the attention of the ships here. I think the Grosser's for some reason firing to the right of the screen here. I don't know what he's shooting at. I guess it looks like a battleship moving in there. Well, if you got a Alaska that's that low, that should definitely be the priority target. So a bit of a mistake there. Well, that's going to allow us to continue to pump damage. We gunned the engine here, or we should be. We launched torps. I'm trying to think, okay, do we have enough time to get another launch off that side? No. Okay, now we gun the engine, and we're going to flip around here, get that other tube going here. The secondaries could be a problem. But we don't want that ship getting close to us. During the sequence, I'm thinking the likelihood of surviving this is low. We did see the Grosser begin to turn to the left-hand side of the screen there, led the aim. If you didn't see where he aimed there and you're trying to learn how to torpedo, you know, without just strictly firing on the indicator all the time, go ahead and rewind that section there and just see how much of an additional lead we gave. We just anticipated he would continue to turn. He was probably thinking, okay, this guy's torping, I better change direction, but we played one step ahead of him, got him down there. Okay, so we get out of that relatively unscathed. In fact, only about 6k down after our heal. 80,000 damage. Here's the Stalingrad we were talking about earlier. And red, you know, I wouldn't say their map control is that much better. I mean, me and the Stalingrad are essentially playing this game here. And then we have two destroyers swarming the red team. And then these, I think it's a pair of like Grosser Curvefors on our team, backline Bettys. They're going to be active on the radio, giving me suggestions of what we should be doing throughout the match, which is fine. We all need rear admirals in our lives at some point. There, I think that's the first message there. Anyway, we're trying to counter the Stalingrad now. We did lose a destroyer there just a moment ago, and ideally we would like this Kleber just to get a line of sight on this guy, because I need to get him rushed, basically. I need to know which side his broadside is going to be. We do pop our radar there. All their destroyers are dead, so we're not going to need it outside of this play. But if I can't catch this guy broadside, i.e. if we're fighting angled nose in on nose in, he's probably going to win. He's got better guns, more dangerous guns. So we need to kind of have the spotting here. Unfortunately, Colbert is like, okay, I'm going to rush this guy. Let's see, what's my options? I could do anything. Let's rush a radar cruiser and see what happens. So luckily, the Stalingrad is kind of, I don't know if he's running away from him or if he's just coming here anyways. But we are getting spotted now well enough to see where the ship is approaching. And once again, we did not aim on the indicator. We realized he would continue to speed up. Back up here, we got the AP ready to go. Fire one on the side there. Boom, just shy of 20k. He gets us with a counter strike, but boom, he goes down for a he gone there. And that was a huge trade of HP, okay? But it was worth it. That removed their centerpiece. Centerpieces are the strongest in terms of map control, and both of these ships, the Ochakov and the Stalingrad, had been well entrenched throughout the majority of this match so far. So trading that health, while not ideal, was worth it in that case. And of course, we're a tier 7 cruiser taking out legendary tier battleship, legendary tier cruiser, and a destroyer as well. So pretty good effective use of this ship so far. The Kleber, once again, if he just dropped anchor where he is, look on the map there. Just make sure you're not close to the Yamato. You don't want to be getting spotted there. But if you just did that and spotted for me these guys, then I could use my high DPM. You can see the reload on the Ochakov. We have a lot of great tools, a lot of deadly weapons on this thing. All he's got to do is keep these guys lit. We continue to pound them, make sure we're protecting ourselves by keeping the islands in between him. But him going, he's launching torps, then he goes behind islands. And that just makes it much more harder for me. In fact, we had to pull forward here, and now when we shoot, we're actually going to get spotted either on this salvo or the next, over this little ridge right there. You can see we're spotted there. So now, counter shot, we immediately gun the engine, hoping to survive, thinking maybe the game just was lost there. Maybe we shouldn't have shot when we were getting close to that dip. That was a little bit of a mistake on our part, but got away with it. Once again, the Grosser Curvefors asking for help. Okay, we'll continue to help. Don't worry, bud. We got it. Yamato angling in here. We're trying to hit the superstructure, keeping an eye on the damage, not getting a lot of production. Now we go ahead and switch over to that HE. You want to be always watching, the numbers. Okay, we're getting 600 per salvo. That's not great damage. And we're also looking at the icons on the side there. And we saw a lot of skips, that right-hand icon, which is deflections, whatever you want to call it, just shells bouncing off angled armor. He did go a little bit broadside here, but we continue to shoot with the HE. Just to guarantee some damage. We do have a little bit of fire action, and the Colbert does get him with the torps. Down goes the Yamato, and Of course, our team's been asking for help, so we think, how could we now help? And we want to continue to control the center piece here because we got that Bagration all the way to the east. We don't want him to get a hold of the Colbert and then potentially even get into our base while we're bogged down here, supporting the black holes, or the people that trapped in the black hole, rather. So we're going to continue to be in the middle here. Once again, ask for help. No problem, bud. We got it. The only proper response in this case is set a smokescreen. It's just kind of my ridiculous response to most of my teammates these days. I think it's kind of funny just because it's kind of the weirdest command that you can possibly give anyone. Anyways, we move forward here. We are getting spotted at the moment. Excuse me. And this island here just to the left of the center of the screen there, that's our next play. These are the islands we want to be looking for as all cruisers, okay? There's some cruiser players that always want to be open watering, kiting, whatever else. That's fine if that's how you want to run it. But me, I always recommend look for island cover first and foremost, and then play the more defensive style if need be. Conqueror did damage con the opening fire there. Asking for help, no problem, we got it. We continue to hit him here. Switch over to the AP now. They turn broadside. He's angling mostly towards those guys. So we do have access to some shots here. We're going to, once again, keep an eye on the output, though. Make sure that these shells are doing damage. Conqueror will pop a heal, though. And like a lot of British battleships, very effective heals. So we're going to watch a lot of the damage that we were combining with kind of get reversed. Nothing we can do about it. We just want to keep the pressure on. Keep the damage pumping in there and keep his health as low as possible, so when that heal runs out, then we'll be able to take him down. Now, he is getting pretty low here, but you can see the shells here, these AP shells, when we're actually hitting the targets, unlike the last couple of salvos. But throughout this exchange, we're still getting pretty good damage. And once again, a lot of these cruisers, you know, Germans, some of these Russians, if they heavily favor, you know, American heavies we should put in there as well, heavily favor the use of the AP shells. So you always want to be testing them as a priority, and then when they prove to you that they're not producing damage, that's when you want to switch to the HE, as opposed to some of the other ones where you'd favor the HE in more instances. Bagration does begin to go around to go back to the base. Kind of a wasted effort here, unfortunately. I don't know if he was pursuing the destroyer when he was hiding over there. That would be my guess. But nevertheless, he should have probably tried to flank me, see if he could have surprised me and get a kill shot there, and then he could have flanked the rest of my team, who don't seem to be as effective. Once again, ask for help. We say, no problem, bud. Just set me a smoke screen, and I'll see what I can do for you. And we're trying to ward off the Bagration here. And the Colbert, who's been doing a great job, he continues to suicide rush everyone on the team, but he keeps getting away with it, and he's got numerous kills. So, not going to bash the play when it works. I would like to see him play a little bit more conservatively, though, in general. A lot of the high-tier destroyers seem to be suffering from, you know, boredom a lot of times, and, you know, if the match lasts longer than 5 minutes, they just try and kill themselves by rushing everyone. But nevertheless, he does get 3, 4, 5 kills, whatever it is this game, so good job by the Colbert, doing a much better job than the Red Destroyer, and then it's going to be up to us. At least, you know, Bagration, you can see on the screen there, he's obviously got a lot more health than us. We got about 12, 13,000. He's looking at 30 to 40. I can't see it on my replay screen. It's a little slow or small at the moment. But we're going to try and get as much damage as possible. Here we got him broadside. He wasn't anticipating this rush here. Not going to be landing in any citadels. Now, watching my aim point here, I think I'm aiming just a little high. I'm looking on the map, seeing him move away from us. Nevertheless, you know, if we're going for the citadels, which of course we would want to be, maybe just purely a waterline shot might have achieved that shot. But getting good damage, we did whittle him down quite a bit. We did cross the 200,000 mark, and trying to get one more salve off before we go down, but that will conclude our contribution to the game. 206,000 damage, 3 kills, and about 350 hits with the gun. So pretty effective Ochakov game. Really, this ship has all the tools. If it ever comes back, which I hope it doesn't, it's one of those ships that probably should just be confined to the people who have it now. But it's got radar, it's got blistering guns, AP, HE, good maneuverability. It's got it all, and protected citadel, by the way. So let's look at the Ochakov for you guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, please hit the thumbs up. New to the channel, consider subscribing. Lots of World of Warships coming all the time. Questions, comments, leave below. We'd love to hear your neighbors.